Hey everyone, my name is Lisa Welter and I'm the founder of the Catalasso Group. 20 years ago, I found myself embarking into a season I had no idea what was actually going to take place. I went through the process of a divorce and a child abuse case that lasted a very long time and ultimately ended up in court 150 times throughout a period of longer than a decade. I also had a really sad tragedy. My parents had sued me, and so experienced a grandparent litigation as well, and then all the post-decree issues that come with that. For those of you who have ever been through the courts, you know that the power imbalances usually don't get worked out. The root of the conflict does not resolve. And so I lived through a very long season where there was no peace. There was escalation in the family conflict, and people were really just pushed to their corners rather than digging into the heart of the matter. I became a licensed pastor about halfway through that and found that the families that I was serving in the church were struggling with very similar issues, and I was not equipped to know how to engage and provide support. In fact, it was easier for me to just make a referral to a Christian lawyer. And then I saw the devastating impact of how the family courts broke families apart, just like my own. I also had the experience in the child welfare system. I worked alongside human services, foster care, the county level and state level, and have found very similar issues. Families where harm has been committed to children, and there really isn't a true way that the county or government can get up underneath the harm that has been done. And we're seeing some really significant ramifications across our country today. Every one of us can turn on the nightly news. We can look on our social media feeds and we see we are really polarized as a nation. But when you think about it, half of America has walked through the doors of the family court system because half of our families have experienced divorce. That's a lot of hurting families. That's a lot of hurting people. And what it's ultimately doing, not only is it hurting the parents, but it's hurting children. As the founder of the Catalasso Group today, I've decided enough is enough. It is time to introduce a lateral process that is holistic and community driven so that families have access to a different process that holds them accountable for the actions in which they've chosen. But it also reduces the conflict and the war zone atmosphere that our children are not thriving under. We're calling it the Full Circle program, and it's here for you today. If you have found yourself in a season where you've experienced that sort of pain, I invite you to give great consideration to the conversation ahead. When I was going through the very early stages of my divorce and the custody issues and child abuse, I clung to Jeremiah 29:11. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to give you a hope and a future, and plans not to harm you," right? I waited for the day, and I found that day that God has brought things full circle, and he has restored and he has redeemed what is lost. Has he done that for you? Perhaps you're in that season and you are seeing the restoration, and now he's calling you to do something about it. I'd love for you to join me. Joel 2 says, "I will restore to you the years that the locusts have eaten." He says further on, God says that I will not put my people to shame, nor will my name be disgraced. Now, I know I'm paraphrasing that, but today is the time. God is calling his people to stand in the gap for families and restore what has been lost. My dream is, what if every single county in America, there's 3,400 plus, what if every county and every family court system in America had access to a different process, lateral to the courts, a community-driven family justice process that tackled issues like divorce, custody, post-decree, child neglect, child abuse and neglect, foster care, and more. All of this is fundamentally rooted in we don't know how to live well together, or there's been harm done and we don't know how to fix it. But I believe today God is calling our nation to heal, and we have options in front of us. What if every family like mine and like yours had access to a local biblical justice model? Why do I say biblical justice? Biblical justice gets to the core of each individual's heart and brings restoration to them. The courts can't do that. And so I'm leaving my faith into this, and I invite you to also bring your faith into it. If we don't, we will just continue to flatline our families in the court system. It is literally killing our families, and our children deserve better. When we look across the nation, who is actually teaching people how to live well together? In my opinion, that really could be the work of the church, but I believe God is creating a movement and he's calling people to step in the gap because we at the Catalasso group are teaching people how to do this. We're going to teach people how to live in better relationship with one another. Whether abuse has been done or harm, we believe that every victim wants to be validated and they want peace. And we have a process that allows for that. We are launching a holistic conflict resolution program that has a twist, but we are rooted in our faith and we're designing it for every family in America. And we're looking for qualified leaders who have the same passion, first of all, but second of all, want to bring this to their community, to their family courts, because there are a lot of families in every county that would benefit from this sort of process or program. I'm introducing to you the Full Circle certification program. It's 120 hours. It takes a year to get through. We're equipping and empowering primarily women. Men could jump into to establish a professional and holistic alternative dispute resolution practice or ministry to serve families in their local community that are engaging with the family courts. We're also preparing people to have direct engagement and a relationship with their local judicial officers. How do you do that? What does that look like? We're going to teach you how to do that and design a lateral process at a local level to address family conflict and harm. We're also going to prepare you in the specialty of circles. This is a very unique alternative dispute resolution communication process, but it is incredibly effective. I personally benefited from it. And as a pastor, I can speak. I have never seen anything so powerful in my life. People weave in their faith as they wish, if they want to, but it's just a very powerful process to address conflict, to provide healing for those that have been victimized and hurt, or for children, if they are moving from home to home, we got to address those issues. But then also for the significant accountability that is needed in some of the more complex and difficult circumstances. Our programming is going to teach you how to be a restorative community leader. It's going to teach you the fundamentals of circle keeping and give you the practical experience that you need to train and equip people in your community. You're going to be able to work with government. You're going to know how to navigate the idea of faith within that. You're going to get the practical experience working with families in conflict through our practicum and clinic hours. You're going to learn how to develop volunteer teams. How do I build a community-driven process? We will teach you how to do that so you can support even more families. We're going to give you all the programming that we've already designed and created. You don't have to come up with it. We're going to simply teach you how to do it and give it to you in a package to go implement. And then we're going to teach you how to actually build this collaborative ministry or practice. Whether you choose to be a nonprofit, you choose to make this an extension of your local church, maybe you want this to be a for-profit business, all of those options work. You get to decide what makes the most sense. And then you pick the area of family conflict that you want to work with, whether it's foster care, it's in prevention, it's in those that are going through custody disputes, maybe it's post-decree issues, maybe it's on the front lines in churches as they're doing counseling for couples. It works in all of those areas. You just decide what God is calling you to do. We're also going to offer spiritual and personal development. You guys, it's a big deal to have spiritual maturity and enter into this. As you lead teams, as you're leading families, you too have to be ready to go. And so we're going to help you in that process. And then last, we have really practical ways to engage you with your local family courts on how do I write a referral process? What kind of record keeping do I need? What should the application look like for families? We've got it all for you. You just come and be a part of the program. We'll teach and equip you. So this is launching in September. We're taking cohorts of 10 individuals at a time. So you're getting a very customized and intimate experience of being trained and equipped in a process called circles. And then all of those extra components are going to be needed to make you successful in your practice or in your ministry. I would encourage you to join me and my teammate, Jen, for an information session on Friday, April 30th, either 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock Central Time. We're just going to be on Zoom for half hour, 45 minutes, answering questions and then unpacking this in greater detail. Friends, I'd love to see you. I know there's a lot of you out there who have had these experiences, and maybe today is the day God is bringing things full circle.